Hey everyone, before we jump right into the J-Rock ONSEN, just wanted to hit you guys up with a quick reminder that the views expressed within this podcast are not indicative of J-Rock news as a whole. We believe everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and as such, each of us has our own opinion, and that can range from anything from which band is the best to which band is the worst. So, enjoy your time in the ONSEN. Okay everyone, welcome to the J-Rock ONSEN. We're all going to be jumping into the mixed bath today, talking about a number of topics, some of the top stories from this month, and we're going to move on from there with some more interesting things, maybe some little stories you haven't heard, cover a bit of social media, and we'll see where it goes from there. So I'm joined by my co-hosts today. We got NBT, Nexus, Sizz, and obviously myself.
Woohoo! And this is the first podcast as well.
Oh,
the first real one.
This is episode one, not 0. Okay, let's kick this off, guys. So the first thing I want to jump into is JMelo. So we had the lucky privilege of being featured on JMelo, and that was on February 18th. And I mean, they've had some pretty big names on their show before, like the Gazette. Miyavi even met his freaking wife there. Like, I don't know, maybe one of us can meet our wife there. So definitely a huge thank you to NHK World for having us on there. They came to our London office, which was kick-ass. Didn't have to pay our own airfare to go all over the place. I mean, they even mentioned that we're getting a lot of global hype, which was global hype in and of itself, which was really nice. We went on there and we talked about why we like J-Rock, and we gave 3 big bands, which were OK Rock, Babymetal, and Bandmade, who are, making big splashes right now. And honestly, it's totally would have been impossible without all the great readers we have. So thank you to you guys who really supported us and pushed us through to the top. We're better than a lot of other people. Not going to name names.
No problem, Mazo.
So, Sizz, from my understanding, you were there, right?
Yes, I was there, yes. I was at the London office when they were setting up, talking through the lines and how we were going to do it, me and Edo. They recorded some parts that, I mean, you didn't get to see, but it's fine. There was a cameraman and there was the one who was helping us go through everything. And it was just a really interesting experience. I was looking at the lights and how the lights were working, how he done that, and how the cameraman was filming everything. It was just a really interesting experience. Really enjoyed it.
Okay, so you said there's things we didn't see. Did you meet your wife?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I just wanted to get that out of the way just to make sure. It's okay. You'll find her. Or him. I don't judge.
But it's pretty cool to have that experience, it's just so cool. So
it's humbling in a way.
Yeah. I just don't know what to say about the experience. It was just like amazing. That's it. So
honestly, to me, like I sat on my bed and watched it with my girlfriend. I have one. And,
Oh my!
It was unreal to me, like to see Edo on there, and it was like, I know her.
I've touched her before.
Well, let's not go that far.
Did you tell your girlfriend that you touched her?
I would never say that to her,
even though it's true.
Oh my God.
Let's not spread rumors. Let's talk about Roadies. How about that? Let's talk about Roadies.
Yeah, sounds good. Because
clearly other people are interested in Roadies too. I mean, Roadies are fucking essential. I mean, I've seen live DVDs where, say, Diron Gray, Toshio will throw a mic like 10,000 feet in the air because he's got those big arms, and it'll come down and land on the ground, and the roadie comes out there like a little kabuki ninja, picks it up and sets it back up for him so he can scream back into it when it's time. So we interviewed a roadie, and for those of you who are interested, and some of you have already shown some interest, you can get some insight on kind of the stuff they do. They go about doing their job. I mean, some people kind of get their start in the music industry being a roadie. They just get to know people. You get to learn some ups and downs of the industry while you're there.
Yeah, it's like being a slave, but with like privilege.
Yes.
Yeah.
You gotta get your share of bullying from your senpais, so you can make
Hell yeah, nothing in life is better than getting your stone stepped on by someone bigger than you.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of it.
The interview with Roadie was pretty interesting. I like some of the stuff, how they mentioned drunk people and how they'll mistake a roadie for like an actual person on stage, and I think that's kind of sad in a way. I know that there are some people in the J-Rock world who did start out as roadies. Nexus, do you know of anyone in particular? Because I only know rumors, and I don't want to be like, guys, guess what? This guy was totally a roadie, and then people are like, oh my god, he's a roadie, and then we're like the source of some shit rumor.
And I do know of one. I talk about this a lot. Kamijo.
The legendary Kamijo.
Yeah.
You know, I have a hard time picturing him running around.
Yes, Kamijo, the ex-roadie of Malice Miser in the 90s. The walking proof that if you are very good at the stuff that you do, you can even surpass your senpais. So if any of you ever become roadies and have a lot of luck, you may just one day be the senpai of your band senpais.
That sounds cool. You know, now thinking about it, it just sounds cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something I've thought of myself, but you know, you need that stamina. I prefer to just eat.
Same.
I was actually quite surprised at how I didn't realize that roadies were probably also suffering from the mentioned post-tour depression, because I really thought it was just something that happened to fans and maybe to the artists. Apparently it happens to roadies as well, which is like pretty logical. I'm just surprised I didn't think about it.
That happens when you go to like conventions as well, because you spend like 3 or 4 days there, and then when you get back to like reality, it's like, what is this shit? What is this?
Before we move on to the next topic, I'm gonna call bullshit on that, because I go to AX Anime Expo every year, and I fucking hate it. It gets worse every year. I don't know what those clients are doing. I'm putting them on blast. It is a tragedy. Every year it gets worse. I could never forget some of the horrible shit I've been through there. It's great seeing all the people and like the vendors hall and all that shit, but oh my god, it is a fucking nightmare. And our catchphrase, I say that because I actually have friends that say it with me.
Wow.
It's Anime Expo. It gets worse every year.
Yeah, I've heard stories from there, so yeah, unfortunately.
Let's move on to Babymetal with some exciting news from Babymetal. They're going to be doing a world tour. They're hitting 13 locations. They announced this on February 27th. And in my opinion, I don't think they're hitting enough locations, because there's 8 locations in the US and 5 in Europe. They're very heavy on the eastern part of the US, which there's cities there, but there's also other cities in other places, like, I don't know, my home state of California with Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, just really big places with actual people. Not that you guys out there aren't people, but it's like, I don't understand what they're trying to do here. But it's like super Texas heavy. I did not know that Texas loved Babymetal.
I saw some comments on Facebook that mentioned that surprised to see that this was like a world tour when they were focusing their US tour so densely.
Yeah, it's very compact. I didn't get the chance to see them when they did their show in California, or 2, because they sold out instantaneously. And I'm surprised that they wouldn't want to make up for that by coming back. Instead, they're just like, you know what? We got enough going on over there. Let's just hang out in Texas for a while. I don't know if they're really like into steak or something. Maybe that's what they want. I know Yosei Teikoku, they were really into eating meat. They mentioned that in the interview that they did with us. I don't know. I think it's kind of disappointing. I hope they announce more. They did announce 2 in Germany, which I thought was interesting. That's the only place in Europe that they're hitting twice.
And they're not even concerts. They are festivals.
So yeah, that's what clarify. They're all festivals, and you know that I don't know if sometimes we don't count that as a world tour or part of a tour. We just count that as something on a bit of a side for like more Western bands. So just go to festival is a bit. It's not. I can't count that as a world tour really. And also, I mean, there's so many times. I just want to like elaborate on the Texas thing. There's so many times where Japanese bands have gone to Germany, you know, and so maybe Germany's the equivalent of Texas. Like there's like I know Muck when they came around last time, they were in Germany for 3 times, you know? It happens every time we get a Germany date.
I go see bands in Germany, okay?
Okay, well, you're close enough. So maybe that's part of it, is that like it may not be that all the fans are there, but there's nearby areas that can get there easily.
Yes. If you actually go to a concert in Germany, you will notice that like it's 80% Germans. All the people from the surrounding areas like Czech Republic, Slovakia, Austria go to Germany because they have like nothing closer to go to. That's probably one of the reasons why so many Jrock concerts take place in Munich, so they can get more people that way.
Well, how do you notice that? Because I've been to Germany for concerts for a few times. I don't really notice that people are from other places.
You don't bring your race cards?
I go, usually when I already bother to go to a concert pretty far, I go to the venue pretty early to like queue up and be in the front. So I spend quite a lot of time just standing there and talking to people. You notice that way, kind of.
Like, don't get me wrong, I have no problem with like tours consisting of like mainly German dates, but in the UK, we get absolutely none sometimes. They go to France and they'll just miss us completely.
Oh, you shut up, dude. You get all the good concerts in the UK.
Yeah, I gotta say, you guys get way too much.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't deserve it.
You're just spoiled, man.
Compared to America, I know America doesn't get much, but I guess we do get, sometimes in Europe, especially, we get a lot of concerts.
Dude.
And I do feel sorry, like a lot of time for American fans.
I think it might be a problem with visa and so maybe the lack of promoters for the US, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the promoters are dog shit because I feel like I feel like they kind of generalize Japanese bands. I feel like they don't get them the way that fans do. And that's one of the things that's really interesting about the whole Japanese music scene is that fans are crazy. And it's not like we're mentally unstable or anything, but it's like we go to great lengths to just listen to these bands. Like Deviloof, for example. I am trying so hard to get their next single, but Tower Records doesn't want me to ship it internationally. So I'm either going to use I'm either going to use a shopping service, or I'm so lucky that my friend just ship it to his new home in Japan, lucky bastard, and then he's going to ship it to me, and I have to pay for all of it. Deviloof doesn't even care about us.
Oh, like you complained earlier that there's too many concerts in Germany. For the Morrigan tour last year in autumn, there was there was only one concert in Germany. Like there still was one, but it was only one. Usually there's like 2 or 3. There was finally a concert in Czech Republic, and the Germans, they were so salty that there was only one concert in. It was Munich, and there was no concert in Berlin, no concert in Cologne.
Yeah, spoiled fucking kids.
Yeah, they're super spoiled by too many concerts.
I won't call them spoiled, but I will say that, if you have the expectation that they're going to tour, they're going to have 3 dates on the tour in Germany, and you've had that consistently with many other Japanese bands, then, you're going to expect it from the next band or the next band, and that's probably not the best thing to do, obviously.
I mean, looking at it historically, I remember there was a period in time, I wasn't alive yet, but Germany and Japan were really close and killing a lot of people together.
God, don't say that.
Oh, shit, they're like partners.
So, jokes aside, it could just be really good promoters, and that's great for them. And, other people need good promoters like that. But
1 minute, I just want to clarify the one point I forgot is that sometimes these promoters are run by fans themselves.
Yeah.
So the quality is probably not to the standard that everybody expects. And I think that's really good because it's also the fans are learning like how to promote bands and how to get bands over. And that normally generates good stuff. So
yeah,
that's for sure.
Like first you go to events and then you start organizing them when you get too old.
And here's the next piece of news. Diron Gray announced something quite interesting. Hands down the best band out there. Don't debate me on it. They're going to be releasing a single, Ningen o Kabaru. It's supposed to come out April 25th. They announced this on the 6th of February. They announced it like really late at night for us Western people. So it like waking up to some really great news like breakfast in bed. And the translation is roughly wearing people. which I think is pretty kick-ass. I hope that there's a PV for it where they skin someone. That'd be really cool.
Just to clarify, kaburu is mostly used for, I think, stuff that you wear on your head, like a crown or something like that.
So like an ass hat.
Possibly.
Okay, well, that makes sense. The title, as we said, people wearing skin, kind of sounds like it's going to be a really heavy single. And it's kind of interesting because I remember how Deviloof, I keep talking about them. Clearly, they're one of my favorites. But their new single is going to be Kaika, and that's like blossoming flowers or something along those lines. And in our article, Zahn wrote that he's wondering if it's going to be like, finally, they're going to do a ballad or something like that. But thank God they've mentioned that that's going to be their heaviest release yet. So it's like from the title, you really can't take anything. We might be getting like another Glass Skin here. They're doing a remake of Ash, and there's going to be a live recording of Utafumi. And that's pretty interesting because their remakes recently have been really good. Obviously, with their new collection, they had a few different ones on there. They weren't the greatest, in my opinion. I like the direction they're heading in with their remakes. Even the cover they did for, what was it, Durangler? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Yeah, that cover was freaking great. I really like what they're doing right now with their sound. And I hope that, I know that with Ash it's going to sound great. But on that news, I'm really hoping that with the announcement of a new single, they'll come back to the US. I'm so tired of them announcing these tours and not going anywhere but Japan. I know that's your home and your big fan base, but come on, the world loves you. The world needs to see you.
They don't love you. That's
that's the best part about it. It's like, I love them so much, but they
hate you.
They hate me.
It's so funny.
They don't even
when you
care.
say that. Yeah, it's so funny you say that because I remember that there was a time where Darren Gray were touring absolutely everywhere, like America, Europe, and we were spoiled. We were literally spoiled. And now there's like this flat line of no tours outside Europe. So
wait, they don't even come to Europe.
Yeah, obviously you guys did something wrong over there.
Something, I don't know what.
I'm pretty sure it was you Europeans. They went and did a show and it didn't turn out right.
No, definitely it has been Mazo personally. He somehow insulted Kyo. I don't know how.
They were doing that show at the Mayan, and I think when I yelled out, "I eat ass" in Japanese, they heard me, and they're like, "We don't want to be around these people."
Mazo's fault.
What they were they were doing a series of tours last year or the year before for every album, and I think that's also like prolonged this like from them touring in Europe and America. So.
I mean, I think part of it is also all these side projects. So let's move on from here. I mean, those were our big stories. So we're gonna cut into our next segment. We're gonna move from the mixed bath to something else. We'll find out.
Bath, maybe.
Yeah, couples bath. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about some random little stories that maybe you guys may not have heard. Something that either didn't get like a full page or we think really needs your attention. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with this one. Voodoo Kung Fu, who I did a review for their live performance here in California. They teased a new EP, and all it says is new EP coming soon. It was a post on Instagram. Hopefully that comes with another tour. If it does, I'm going to try and get the word out to you guys because this band definitely needs the exposure. They're great. They're just great. The singer he's such a nice guy. And then Lady Baby, just like kind of under the radar, got 2 new members, and they posted a picture and they're talking about how they're going to be doing a one-man tour to debut these 2 new girls. And I don't know if they're just like grasping to stay alive or if they're really doing something because I really haven't been able to follow them so far. So those are 2 things that I really think you guys should keep an eye out for. And we'll move on to Nexus from there. Nexus, do you have anything?
The first one is some new information on Kamijo and his release recently came out. If you purchase the album, any version of it on CD Japan in July, I think, you're going to be able to participate in a live stream with Kamijo. So that's one story. A second story is yesterday, I think I talked to somebody on Discord who didn't know that Mana was coming to the US at the end of March for SakuraCon, I think it's called, yes, to Seattle. So if you have missed that, please do check that out. Just a little plus at the end. The Gallo are back after a year and something of no releases with a new single. It's on our site. Please go check it out.
What's the
Get,
name?
like, no attention. Kerberos is the name of the single. It's got really like a really cool look, and the music video preview looks like really cool. It deserves your attention. Go look at it. MBT, you got something?
Yeah, so first of all, Marmalade Butcher. Have you guys heard of them?
No.
Okay.
Marmalade Butcher, another one of those bands. One of the bands you like.
Yes, so it's... Shut up.
Oh, one of those. Yeah. I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, okay, so it's an instrumental band, and they're releasing a new single after being quiet for 2 years. And the single is called
Floxinosinihilipilification.
I can't pronounce it, but it's like the second longest word in the English dictionary.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I think it is. And then we also have Reol. She's back as a solo artist now, and she's releasing the album Kyokyo Shu. And
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I would definitely recommend that. Let's move on with Sis.
Right. So the last podcast I spoke about Arurukan. Now they've announced that they'll release a new single called Exist. It will come in March 21st. I believe Exist is the main song, and they'll have another song called Antidote. They'll both have music videos. Roadies at the end of this month, on March 21st, will release their new album World Is Mine, and they released a trailer for it. This was edited, I believe, by the bassist Kodai. They went extra on this, and I definitely recommend you watch it. And Nocturnal Bucklust, Nocturnal Bloodlust, will be releasing their single very soon called Whiteout on March 7th. They've now released the music video for it, and I feel like I have mixed feelings about it. When you hear the saxophone in this song, it's actually Kazuki's guitar. It's not as another saxophonist. It's him with his pedals doing some crazy shit. So Kazuki's also mentioned that it's dedicated to his late friend. Heartwarming despite how cold the music video looks. It has a meaning connected to it.
But Whiteout. I mean, you said you have mixed feelings about it. Is it a race thing?
No.
You want it to be blackout?
Oh my god.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, so all right, our next segment, we're gonna go on ahead and start drying off here. We're gonna do some social media. So earlier this month, we asked, or I guess it would be last month, we asked you guys, our readers, how exactly you ended up getting into J-Rock. And so we've gone through some of your comments and responses, and we've picked some interesting stories or something we can relate to. So I'm going to go on ahead and kick this off with I found a post by a reader by the name of Mike Lawrence. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but he mentioned that back in 2009 he was into Wizards. Okay, so he was into Wizards of Waverly Place, and he mentioned how one of the characters had a band that they really liked. They would always talk about this band, and out of curiosity, he went to search for that band. And I'm assuming the band was fictional, but their name was Beast of Blood. And instead, he came up with Malice Miser, Beast of Blood, which is a great song, and pretty much history wrote itself from there. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I have a really similar story to that. But for now, I think that's really kick-ass how, you know, that happens. But I'm going to go on ahead and pass the mic off to Nexus. What do you have?
Yeah, my favorite story from this post is one that really fascinated me. And that is a lady by the name of, I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, Lisa Largent-Tool, who is allegedly over 50 years old and started listening to Japanese pop music in 1974, and apparently listened to that for a long, long time. And then in 2010, she moved on to LMC in Versailles and discovered J-Rock, which is super interesting story.
Yeah, I wasn't even born at that time.
Like my father was born in 1969.
Yeah, I think I was in my 40s. Do you have a story?
It's cool that there's like older fans that exist, because it's, I don't know if it's rare for you guys, but I don't occasionally see older fans. I normally see it's like maybe late teens, early 30s. So not like 50, you know?
That MBT, do you have something?
So my pick was this guy called, I think it's a guy, and yeah, it's a guy, Anthony Bow. So his last name is the same name as Bow from Anne Cafe. So he was just curious to see what would come up if he Google searched his own name, and then he saw this like Asian girl, and he was like, oh, let's click it, and that's how he found out about Anne Cafe. The rest is pretty much history.
So when you say he saw an Asian girl, did he see an Asian girl or did he take Bo for a girl?
Yeah, exactly.
That happens.
Just a
I've heard of
clarification
that.
to the readers, we do not think that Bo is a girl.
He's not?
He's not?
Oh, he is not? Okay.
I gotta erase my folder.
Okay.
All right, Sis, you got anything?
Right, so the correlation I've seen throughout this whole thread is that a lot of people have gotten into J-Rock through anime. Just to say my own story, I got into Visual-kei and J-Rock for anime as well. So Overworld was probably one of the earliest bands I got into, and then Nightmare from Death Note was also one of them. So that is cool. There's not very much Visual-kei bands that actually do openings. The few you can name is that. Not yet, anyway.
Baki the Grappler, fight me, I dare you.
Well, Fear and Loading is Las Vegas has also done openings.
Oh my god, yeah, they've done some good ones like Gotoku no Brynhilder. That one, oh my god.
Hunter
Punch a hole in the wall.
I think that's probably the most popular Hunter x Hunter. But yeah, it's sometimes it's surprising, I think, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes you get your regulars like Sid, you know, and sometimes you get
VIP.
Gazette.
Well, Gazette done one. You know?
Yeah, that's because they were signed to Sony and they probably forced them to do one.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
Gun to Ruki's head. Sing.
but that's it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like YouTube and anime and all that stuff really played a big role in a lot of the stories. I mean, people just look for things and then it's out there and it just, you know, that's how they get into it. I know for me, yeah, definitely it was anime. I started with Rurouni Kenshin, you know, the one by that pedophile guy, and I really liked Heart of the Sword, and I had a friend who had the actual little CD from the anime, so I challenged her to a kendo match, as you do, in order to win this CD, and I did win it, but it was only to borrow it. And I ripped the CD, gave it back to her, listened to it over and over and over again, but I never had the track list. And there was one song on there that I really liked. And I came to find out, I have no idea how I found out. I think I was just looking up Rurouni Kenshin ending themes. It was the 4th Avenue Cafe by L'Arc-en-Ciel, which is still one of my favorite songs to this day. And I was looking for that song on YouTube just to listen to it. Related video, Saku by Deer on Grey. And that blew my fucking mind. So from there, I mean, history just wrote itself. Again, it went crazy. I mean, Filth and the Beauty was there, all that stuff. Just good shit. And then that's another thing that I thought was kind of interesting was the first kind of opportunity I had here at J-Rock News was to interview TM Revolution, which he's kind of the one who got me into everything.
Oh, that's
obviously
cool.
That fell through because I didn't interview him, but I mean, it was weird how that all went full circle for me.
Yeah, Team Revolution is just legendary, and he's still going on, and it's just, you know, he's one of the Oji-sans of like.
I mean, that guy has an Android.
That music of anime music as well as just.
Yeah, he's done like Gundam music, and I really love all of them.
Gact did Gundam music.
Yeah, true. Metamorphosis. Yeah.
Well, Gak did graffiti for Scat Dance. That anime I actually liked, so I was quite into that song as well.
Oh, I like Gact.
Gact got me into J-Rock.
Shut up, Mazo.
Gact got me into homosexuality. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
That sounds reasonable.
I looked at Gact once and now I'm a homosexual.
That's how it works, man. I think the big thing for me with Gact was Moonchild, the movie that he was in with Hyde, because before I was like super into Hyde.
Yes.
And then they made that movie together, and then I was like, no, I don't like Hyde anymore. I like Gact.
Well, let's clarify. Old Gact, not new Gact.
I like Gact.
Oh, wow, okay. Old Gact.
The girl I was dating at the time that I really started getting into Gact was like, if you're ever going to sleep with anyone else, it's only allowed to be Gact. I'm like, that's cool.
Technically, what got me into J-Rock was Gact. Technically, anime and Final Fantasy. I know the exact day I got into J-Rock. February 23rd, 2008, because I went to an anime convention because I was really into Naruto, as you are when you were like 14. Didn't really have anything to do at the convention because it was like one of the short 1 day long ones. So I just went to sit at a random Final Fantasy panel. I didn't know anything about Final Fantasy at all. I just went there and they were talking about all the sevens, where Gact was a model for one of the characters. I think his name is Genesis.
Yes, yeah.
And I really liked the way he looked because they showed his picture. So I went home and Googled what the fuck is a Gact? And I came up with stuff like Vanilla and other yaoi stuff from Gact. Somehow I came up with Maris Miser and Mana and oh no, now I'm like this.
It reminds me of that meme where it's like the woman with her kid and she's like, don't look, they're JoJo fans, and he's like, yada yada dazeo kasa.
Yep, that's what happened.
Done. But yeah.
All right, MBT.
I noticed that a lot of people who commented, they found out about J-Rock during 2008 and 2009. I was about the same time, I think, and I found them on YouTube when I first heard about Gazette. So I started listening to the Gazette music videos, and I was like, I want to see how they perform live. Got more and more into them because I started listening to all of their live videos on YouTube.
I just wanted to say really quick, my friends and I call him the Gazidi.
The Gazidi.
Do you guys have anything that you want to just give a quick shout out to our readers before we close out here real quick and get ourselves out of this onsen and get on with our lives?
I'm just listening to Diara's album Verses, which is just brilliant. I've not been a fan for Diara for long, but the album is just top notch, and I just love it. That's it, really.
Okay,
I've been listening to a lot of Aimer, the pop rock singer.
Now, NBT, is it Aimer or Ame? I've heard that it's a French pronunciation.
If you it's like Emma, something like that.
Damn.
Yeah,
Does
but
it have to be
I'm not gonna go around and say Emma. Yeah, her new song, refrain is really good, and it's featured in an anime which I forgot the name of, but that's irrelevant.
that's pretty good, man. That must be one phenomenal anime for sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
you want to give a quick shout out to anything to the readers/listeners?
Thank you for being with us from the start, because we really appreciate it. I don't think we would have gotten this far. I mean, doing this podcast and even again on J-Melo, Yeah, I just want to say thank you for all the readers, and please look forward to more articles and everything.
Everybody should listen to more Nagoya-kei. Just make the world a better place.
Definitely.
Okay, so, I mean, we're all dried up here. We're going to get dressed and we're going to get out of here and get on with our lives. So thank you, everyone, again, for listening. Join with my co-hosts. Oh, you're wonderful people. You really are.
No problem.
All right. Yeah, you guys are great. You're great. Nexus, wonderful shit. Scissor Gia, yeah, NBT, I could use a little more from you, but I can work with it. All right, I hope we all have a great month, and I really look forward to getting together with everyone again, jumping into the onsen, getting nice and steamy, and dropping some new headlines. See you guys around.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Outro music.
I can't. I hope NBT doesn't use any of that bullshit at the end.